September 16, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It was a very gradual sell-off, pretty much a sideways for the rest of the day. And that sideways occurred, I would say, probably after about an hour and 30 minutes. So about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard, when the sideways kind of fully developed. And probably after about the first 2.5 hours of trading, price action really slowed down. But early on, there were a couple of decent setups. One was a pretty great setup. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. And I did take one trade, which is over here. It's hard to see, but you have a entry short, and then the profit, and then my runner right here. And this actually wasn't a very good setup. I want to get to it. It's a pretty poor setup, but I think it was the FOMO of not being able to take these two trades that really kind of did it in for me. And I was very lucky on this entry and this exit. So this is definitely a trade that should not have happened. And the only economic data that came out today was at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here. And it didn't really cause too much commotion. It was the core retail sales. Now, keep in mind, tomorrow is actually the FOMC rate decision. Now, I think a lot of people are expecting probably a 1/4 point cut. So it's going to be, I believe, for the first 3 hours of trading from the open to about 11 o'clock Pacific Standard is going to be really slow because people are just going to be waiting. And then when the rate decision comes out, you're probably going to see a lot of crazy fireworks. And then at around 11:30 Pacific Standard is when Fed Chair Powell comes out and gives some color commentary, takes some Q&A, and that usually causes some weird little knee-jerk blips and bounces here and there. So I'm going to get into trades right now. So everybody should be trading the Z contracts, the last quarter of 2025, the last quarter, and the E-Futures minis, they're rolling over. So you're still going to get some volume on the old U contracts, but most of them are shifting over to the Zs now. Pre-market, there's a spike up, break, tested the high, so it looks like it's 2 legs up. Looks like a spike on this red down channel and a very gradual sell-off in the pre-market. Hits this localized support area, starts moving up and into the open. Now, there's no real trades here. This feels very congested. This looks like quite a few candles, and it's really only moving within a range of about 4 points. So it's pretty hard to trade, even if you're just taking 1-point scalps. So it creates a localized high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is your signal bar for the second entry long. It's inside of this guy, and the follow-through trigger bar isn't very convincing, so there's no trade there, which is up. You could argue it might be in a range here. I kind of had something like this drawn previously, but it didn't really help. I'll go ahead and leave it there because there's not really that many confirmations at the high side. It's still early in development. And then prices sell off, breaks below the EMA, hits a localized low. Go ahead and see if I can zoom in here. It's a localized low. Say first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I saw this and I was thinking, is there a trade here? Because it looks like it's 2 legs up from this localized low area. It does have a clean first entry, second entry, but in real time, this is your signal bar. It broke above the EMA and it closed above the EMA. So I'm not really that excited. There is, if you had a better signal bar, maybe there's a trade there, but there is a confirmed second entry short. So after that, I was looking for a lower high below the EMA. And unfortunately, you don't really get that. And after this big spike down, I'm not ready to take any short now because it feels like the trade has been made in the scalp. Plus, you're going to hit this localized pre-market support. So I'm reluctant to take any shorts right now. Price then continue moving, makes a new low. Technically, you have a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long is a terrible signal bar. You're kind of picking the bottom. I drew this yellow down channel because it fit pretty nicely, at least the high side. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Low side's a little more suspect, but I'm not as concerned on this down channel having confirmations at the low. What's more important is the highs, because if there has all these confirmations, you're always looking to go short on this type of context because prices are clearly going down. So what's more important is having key entry point confirmed in the direction that you want to help your trade to go. So confirmations of the high side is much better than worrying about confirmations of the low side, because if it confirms on the low side, I doubt I'd be looking to go long. It'd be counter trend to what's going on. So it kind of moves and it creates this pretty awesome setup right here. So localized new low, looks like it's 1 leg pullback, second leg, pretty much 2 clean legs up, 1 leg up, then a second leg. Got a perfect measured move. Looks fantastic. Fourth touch confirmation of this yellow down channel. Decent signal bar. Enough room for here down to here for quick scalp. So that's pretty great setup right there. EMA rejection. Price then continue moving down. You have a new low. First entry short, pull back. You have a second entry short and a potential failed second entry long. So you have localized new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, count resets, first entry long pullback, second entry long, and a failed, a failed second entry long, which happened right here, and you have a confirmed failed second entry. I'm speaking incorrectly. You have a failed second entry long and a second entry short, two key entry points. Break of this yellow down channel. You're expecting a test of the low of this yellow down channel. This gray one doesn't exist yet. I'm going to kind of pull it out of the way. So this is what I'm playing in real time. Decent setup. I thought it was not quite as good as this one, but good enough for a quick 1-point scalp. Would have worked. Price then continue moving down. Confirms nicely this yellow down channel. Pushes up. Break of the green up channel. Test the high. You have a triple test technically. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. I saw this triple test, but I wasn't ready to go short yet because the EMA is coming into play. This could be a reversal, but you're not sure yet. Pushes down and through. I'm looking for a lower high below the EMA now, but it reverses back up. So it looks like it's break, test the high, second attempt, pushes up, creates a multiple test, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. Technically, you have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but you don't have a confirmed second entry short yet. Here, this does come down and unfortunately does not break below this original signal bar, but this could now be the signal bar. So it could be a possible test here, but I wanted a break ideally of, I wanted this bar to break below this guy, ideally. Then I feel more safe for taking a trade. So I just kind of waited, but I thought it was a possible trade if you're more aggressive. Pushes down, looking for a lower high now, ideally below the EMA to confirm. Pushes really strongly down, looking for the lower high, hoping the next candle is going to break up. Ideally, maybe have a touch of the EMA, which doesn't really matter at this point because it's kind of flattening, but at least a break above here and a nice close below. So now I'm not really liking this because I don't like that this is a green bar. I had it a little bit tighter right here. Kind of a double top, double bottom. Now I'm not thinking of going short or long because it's a first entry long, potential second entry long, but now it just feels congested because this is just moving sideways now. Again, a doji, then it finally pushes down. I'm not ready to take a short or long. This is just congested now. I'm not really sure what's going on. Another doji pushes up. I was thinking I might be in a range here, pushes up and out. So now this yellow down channel, I'm not sure it's going to test its low anymore because it looks like it's starting to bottom out and flatten. So it does create a lower high, second entry short, new low, first entry short, second entry short, lower high. I thought it was an almost trade because you do have this localized support. I actually had this line a little higher. So you'd be kind of shorting into this potential support area. There's a failed breakout, and I expect a potential failed breakout symmetrically on this side, but it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Pushes down. So now I actually thought, okay, could this actually be slightly lower? Maybe something to here. You have a 1 touch, 2 touch, potential triple test, new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, even better signal bar, second entry long, first entry long, second entry long, triple test, potential fail breakout, bounce off of this support. It feels a little aggressive though. It does have a signal bar, but it is counter trend to the overall bias. But the counter trend may not be that big a risk because it's starting to flatten out, starting to become rangy. So this would have worked for a quick 1-point scalp. I saw a new low, first entry short, second entry short. I didn't really like the signal bar. Pushes down. Again, it pushes down and out, and then resumes pushing back down. It's just low. This channel has kind of moved. So something closer to this. I've noticed in NinjaTrader, sometimes your channels or your lines move or get bumped a little bit the longer you keep it out there. There's a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short, not the best signal bar. It's a little bit tight because it's inside to this. So I just saw it as one leg up, one leg down. But by the technical count, you do have a second entry short here. Looking for a lower high, but you don't get that. Pushes up and out. I'm thinking there's some kind of support excuse me, some kind of resistance here. Something is being obeyed. Some kind of resistance is respected here. Technically, you have a new low. First entry short. Second entry short. Second entry short with a lower high. Unfortunately, it ended up as a doji. So when I see this in real time, I'm not ready to take a short. Plus, it never broke below this guy. But it's something I noticed in real time. Then it pushes down and out. So at this point, I'm not sure the yellow is even in play anymore. So I actually thought maybe there's this bigger channel in play. So the way I made it fit was it was one touch, kind of far, two touch, three touch, but it fit the bottom pretty nicely. So I use this as kind of a guideline to see where potential key entry point might set up. I wouldn't use it as a sole key entry point for a trade, but if there was other things happening, like it was an EMA rejection, good signal bar, I could use this as another reinforcing factor to take a trade or believe a trade setup is going to work. Prices continue moving down. Technically, you have a new high. You have a first entry long here, a second entry long, and maybe a third, but I just saw it as one leg down. First entry long. Rejection. Prices continue moving down. Makes a localized new low, low of day. First entry short. Potential break of this gray down channel. But this gray down channel, I don't trust all that much yet, but it would be going with trend if it continued down. Pushes up. It does create a new low. First entry short pullback. Second entry short. Second entry short. I thought this is a possible trade. Now it's a break of this red up channel. Has tested the high. It looks like it's starting to reverse down. It looks like it was also two legs up from the bottom and decent signal bar. Enough room to the low. Whether I'm arguing a break of this gray down channel needs to test the low. Technically, it had a break here and another break here. I didn't really take that into consideration. It looked like it was just two clean legs down. Enough room for a quick scalp. Going with trend. So it would have worked. I was thinking, is there a lower high here? Technically, there is a lower high, but when you see this, I'm not ready to take a trade off of it. I don't like the signal bar. Then this congestion doesn't really look that great. Technically, it's a new high. And this is actually where I take my one and only trade, and I'm going to go through it. It's a poor setup. But I have a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long. Second entry long technically has failed here. Second entry long has technically failed. I was expecting still, foolishly, that the gray down channel is going to break and test the low. But technically, there's a small break here. It's a break here. And I thought, okay, it's a new low. First entry short. Second entry short. Technically, you have a third entry short here. But I saw it as one leg, two leg, one leg up, two legs up. Technically, a failed second entry long happened here. And that was pretty much my justification for taking the trade, which is a bad idea. I mean, this is the far better trade back here. So I entered right here. Now I kept my stop above this guy, which in hindsight was a bad risk to reward, especially on this type of setup where it's starting to go sideways. I just sit through this, almost get stopped out. So I moved one tick below my stop. I thought I was going to lose the trade. Pushes up, it comes back, makes a second attempt, makes a third attempt. So I'm watching this pressure build up. There is this line drawn at this point. I'm thinking, okay, there's some kind of resistance here. How strong is it? Because my stop is one tick above this guy. It's making higher highs each way. And as a break of this potential purple up channel could test the high. So this is definitely I took a lot of heat on this trade. It comes up again, stops one tick below my stop. So I definitely thought, okay, this trade is gone. I'm not going to be able to make it. Pushes down, doji, flushes down, gives me my 1 point scalp. So look at this trade that I took. I took it on this poor entry, poor setup, was rewarded. So I was very lucky. And I had traded with enough contracts to take a runner, which was a bad idea considering the setup is poor. I should have just taken a smaller contract size and just left it alone. But I sat through it, pushes down, comes back up, and stops me out one tick below my entry. So it was a profitable trade, but in hindsight, this is a terrible setup. Shouldn't have taken it. Definitely felt the FOMO for missing these better setups. Should have left it alone. Then it came through. I saw this triple test. Because technically, it's kind of counted from here. It's like one attempt, two attempt, three attempts. So it's a triple test or multiple test. Decent signal bar. I don't have this red up channel drawn yet, so I couldn't really use it as key entry point. Would have worked. pushes up, breaks out. Looks like it's moving up this red up channel. Break, test the high. Dojis, I don't really like that. Technically, you have first entry long. You technically have a second entry long, but second entry long is below the EMA. It's bad signal bar, no trade here. If I want to go long, I need a higher low. It doesn't occur. It just keeps flushing down, pushes down, just gets choppy. And if you look at the timestamp, so this is a lot of price action going on right here. This is very slow now. So it takes a few minutes, couple minutes at least, for each of these candles to form and close. So price action is definitely slowing down. Hits this consolidation area. These dojis, it's just congested. I'm not really sure what's going on. It looked like it was two legs up. Potential second entry short here, but I don't like that this is inside to this very strong green bar. And then the next bar, the trigger bar, was also inside this guy. So it's telling me just stay away. Especially I should be counting my blessings on this poor trade setup. The prices continue chopping, gets noisy. This is when I draw this red transparent up channel. Now I'm not entirely convinced this is a valid channel, so I never colored it in, but it was some kind of support, looked like it was being respected. I did trust that it was kind of ranging because it looked like it was, but it was just congestion at this point. Prices break out of this green up channel. You have first entry long pullback. I saw a second entry long potential here. I like this hammer bar. I mean, it's not even a hammer, it's pretty much a doji. But what made me cautious was there's a fail breakout here. And I'm reluctant to take the second entry after the first breakout in the same direction of the original direction of the bias. So the original direction of the bias is bullish. So it's a breakout on this side. It's a first entry long. I'm reluctant to take second entry long just yet on the second entry. So here you would have gotten a clean entry, but if you look at again the timestamp, this happened around 12:10 Pacific Standard, and this one happened around 12:13. So there's at least 2 minutes. And when it opened, it was just kind of figuring itself out. I didn't really like the results. Never broke below, broke barely above and just. But if it closed high, bullish, maybe there would have been a trade there. But again, I'm reluctant taking the second entry. Plus, you could say there is a count reset here, so it added some ambiguity. The only way to take a long is if there was a higher low. So you might have a higher low here, but I don't like that there's a stem here. But there was no trade here anyways because it never broke above. The price is flushed down, gets noisy. Looks like it's moving down this red down channel. Break, test the low. This huge, well, relatively speaking, bigger candle here pushes up. You technically have a first entry short. You technically have a second entry short failure, but this is too late in the day to try to take this trade. This is with the last 10 minutes. Kind of gets choppy, new high, first entry long, just noisy, big stems, not a big fan, pushes into the close. So overall, the day could have been a pretty good trading day if I took, because this is a really fantastic trade setup right here that unfortunately I didn't take, and another decent setup right here, in my opinion. And I took a very mediocre, very suspect, very risky trade. So I didn't take the two good trades, and I took a really shaky, bad trade. And I was just lucky that I was able to scrape by without a loss, actually. So tomorrow, FOMC rate decisions coming out. I imagine the first 3 hours, because it's going to happen at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard. The market opens at 6:30. Probably about the first 3 hours, it's just going to be very slow. So I'm going to have to remind myself to be very, very patient, very careful, and only take something that's an absolute give me. None of this suspicious, maybe it's going to work trade, because those are very low probability. And with the market being so slow tomorrow, which I expect going to be before the rate decision, I don't want to be sitting in a bad trade or one that's I'm questioning for so long. Like this guy, I was sitting in for quite a while. So sitting here is timestamp 9:16, and I finally got out at 9:36. So this is a 20-minute wait, 20 minute of wondering if this is a good trade. Plus the candles took forever. So that's just taking a mental toll. So definitely have to avoid things like that. This time of day wasn't even worth the trade to take, especially considering the context. So hopefully that was helpful.